Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business and let's wake up the football gods here. Wake up, guys. And make sure you tune in tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern. We'll be doing our live streaming talk about what else? The Dallas Cowboys. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys and all that's going on. We've got the OTAs out of the way. We got mandatory minicamp coming up on the 11th of June. Man, the season is getting here a lot faster than you think. We sit 104 days, 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 30 seconds away from kickoff of the 2019 season. Can you believe that? Remember, I started this clock at 2:26. Yeah. So we know that the Cowboys have gotten a counteroffer from Dak Prescott. We understand that the Cowboys are thinking of a number about $30 million, and evidently the number that they got from Dak Prescott doesn't scare them too much. Now, we don't know what that number is. I would love to know what it is. But if it had been too much, the Dallas Cowboys probably would have started negotiating this in the public eye, kind of like they did with DeMarcus Lawrence when they thought they had one number and DeMarcus Lawrence had a different one. They kind of threw him a little bit under the bus. But we haven't seen that. But it seems like the narrative on Dak Prescott is coming more towards my opinion of Dak Prescott. More and more, you're beginning to see a few guys that are saying, Dak Prescott is better than what we thought. As they start looking and digesting the numbers, the things that I've been talking about all along, and all of a sudden you start thinking, yeah, he's not that bad. It's amazing because I did, for me, I do paperwork. And it's almost funny because sometimes I do work and I put it out there, and then the next day or two, I see exactly what I did, somebody else using it, these guys right here. Because I pointed out that there was a difference of having Amari Cooper. And I know the people who don't like Dak, they'll say, yeah, he's got to have people around him to be successful. And I said, well, there's a big difference between the guys that we had the first half of the season being thrown to, as opposed to Antonio Brown and Juju Schuster, or Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu and Calvin Ridley. You do need some people who can catch the ball as well. And I'm not throwing shade on our guys, but they were all thrown together. And Amari Cooper became the guy. In fact, Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott became one of the most prolific combinations that second half of the season. Clearly, Dak Prescott made Amari Cooper better, and Amari Cooper made Dak Prescott better. It's a yin and a yang. If Troy Aikman was throwing to, say, Bryce Butler instead of Michael Irvin, do you think that might have made a little bit of a difference? Do you? I think it would have. I think it would have made a hell of a big difference. But you're beginning to hear more and more people that are getting on the Dak Prescott bandwagon. My man from NFL Network, he's been like, Dak, yeah, he's the real deal. He's the guy. You gonna pay him? He's gonna go ahead and prove that, hey, I'm worth that money that you paid him. You don't pay him now, he's gonna make sure he proves that he is worth it. Either way, he's gonna prove. And I'm seeing now like an article that was an over and under for Dak Prescott. Will Dak Prescott get over 30 touchdowns? Ooh. I'll come back to that a little bit later. But here on Pro Football Focus, Mike Farello and Chris Sims, have a discussion about which guy would you pay, Dak Prescott or Jared Goff. Let's watch it.
Which of the two quarterbacks I would pay a long-term big money contract to first, Dak Prescott or Jared Goff? You know how I feel about this. I went Prescott right away. What's your position on Prescott versus Goff?
I'm with you, Mike. I mean, if you make me choose who I'd rather have as my quarterback, I am choosing Dak Prescott. I mean, first of all, hey, let's just get into it. I mean, let's go, player versus player here. Okay, who's got better size? Dak Prescott. Who's a better athlete? Dak Prescott. Who's got a stronger arm? Very close. I probably would still go Dak Prescott. Who can make plays happen off schedule? Dak Prescott. So who can you design quarterback run game design plays for? Dak Prescott. So again, Jared Goff is a good football player. Don't get me wrong, and you can obviously win football games with him. But I think Dak Prescott is a more talented football player, and I think he's been in an offense with less creativity in the pass game too, to where the numbers might not look as sexy, but he's got to do a lot more in that offense in the pass game with just his pure ability and him making the plays, where Jared Goff, as you and I think we both agree, is served up a lot of easy completions because of Sean McVay's genius.
I mean, think about it. You flip
Wow.
Dak Prescott and Jared Goff. You put Goff with Jason Garrett and Prescott with Sean McVay. That would be an
Right.
intriguing chemistry experiment to see how that would work out. And the thing for me with Goff, and we've talked about this, at what point does a team say, no, we're not making you the highest paid player in NFL history. We're not giving you $35 million a year. We're just not doing it. I feel like Goff is one of the prime candidates to get that message when the time comes to sit down and negotiate a long-term deal, that the Rams aren't going to break the bank for Jared Goff, that they believe if they have to, they could go find somebody younger that McVay handpicks to run his system that can get it done as well as Jared Goff for a hell of a lot less money.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, I hear you. I don't know if I totally believe it, right? I'm with you in the
That's where
fact
you
that
cross the
Jared
line.
Goff would be one of the prime candidates for me, for a guy that, doesn't get the big time contract. I do think McVay and Les Snead are the type of guys that have the guts to make that type of decision also. So that leads me there. But then also I look at it and go, gosh, so the LA Rams, since Jared Goff has taken over, okay, they've gone to the playoffs twice. They went to the Super Bowl. He's a California kid. He went to Cal at college. I just feel like ultimately that the Rams will cave in this and give Jared Goff the money, but I have some of the same sentiments you do.
But this isn't Joe Namath, right? I mean,
No,
if you're
no.
going to factor in California factors, LA factors, Hollywood factors, Jared Goff doesn't have that in him.
No,
right?
he does
he's
not.
Kind of a soft-spoken guy.
Right.
And he's not. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. And, this is like how the Raiders fans react when I say Derek Carr probably won't be there next year. I'm saying Goff is a guy who he's not bad. You just have to ask yourself, how much of a financial investment do you want to make? And I keep going back to that play in the second half of the Super Bowl when the Rams were waking up and Brandon Cooks was wide open and Goff didn't anticipate it, didn't see it. And when he finally saw it, he threw a
Way
ball that
late.
wasn't accurate enough to get to Cooks before Jason McCourty closed like a 25-yard gap
Yeah, right.
in 2 seconds.
Don't get
so
opportunities like that.
I just that's the championship moment. I was talking about this on radio. You have very few moments like that where you can establish that you have the championship gene. And Goff had the chance and he failed, Chris. And to me, I don't want to wait for more of these opportunities to come to the conclusion that he doesn't have it. You either have it or you don't. And you had your chance to prove it and you failed. And sorry, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I mean, to add to what you're saying, I mean, he had that same exact play earlier in the game. Same exact play, same exact coverage, and he didn't throw the ball up then. So, yeah, it's a little concerning when you go, damn, here's the same play against the same coverage, and he didn't see it the second time in a row. And then when he did see it, his physical ability and his arm strength weren't good enough to make up for the fact that he was way late on it. And like you said, Jason McCourty, 30 yards away, had enough time to break on the ball and break it up. But, yeah, that'll be the big question there, because Jared Goff, the stats, the numbers, the wins, they're going to all look pretty good. And that's going to lead, I think, to that California, what I'm just saying, that push where he's the franchise quarterback. Look at his quarterback rating. Look at his touchdown interception ratio. And I want to go, yeah, okay, that's cool. But, gosh, there's a lot of quarterbacks that have played in L.A. the last few years who could have similar stats because, it's not that difficult to throw the ball 4 yards to Todd Gurley and then he runs 70 or, throw a guy wide open over the middle that Sean McVay game planned perfectly for. So those are the things they're going to have to figure out.
One last point on this, too. We're not privy to what conversations happened and during that 30-minute halftime or while Sean McVay was.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. But, oh, my God. Jared Goff is getting the Dak Prescott treatment. Remember what Troy Aikman said? Either you got it or you don't. You remember when they said that Dak Prescott's a dink and dunker? Well, it's all 3-yard outs and they're just running for 70 yards. Wow. But it seems like the narrative is beginning to change where people are beginning to look at it and say, you know what? Maybe Dak is not as bad as we've said. And I've been trying to say that all along. And I'm not saying he's a perfect quarterback, but understand that it's only been 3 years. 3 years. And right now, you have Dak Prescott has stayed healthy for 3 years. No other Dallas Cowboy quarterback has done that. You look at the lack of turnovers, interceptions that he's done, historically low. Okay, I know he's had some, pick sixes where they've bounced off of Terrence Williams and other guys and end up being picked off. I'm not sure you necessarily blame all of those on Dak Prescott. I know last year we took a bunch of sacks and stuff. Offensive line's been in flux. Sometimes he holds onto the ball, but he is still learning. And understand too, I love the fact that they pointed out being under Jason Garrett versus Sean McVay. And I'm not saying anything to throw shade on Jason Garrett, but I got to be honest. Tony Romo had what he had when he got here. And you look at all of the other quarterbacks that have come through here, nobody has gotten better under Jason Garrett. Dak Prescott literally was thrown to the wolves. He came here with what he had to begin with. Now, you see that he's beginning to learn things a little bit better. He's beginning to take it to that next level, and we'll see how far it goes. But here's the thing that's going to be interesting. Now you start looking at it and saying, okay, we should have a stable offensive line. Now you look at it, you got a talented group of wide receivers, probably more talent than he's had thus far in the NFL. Definitely better offensive line than he had when he was in college. And now you're going to have a great defense. So now it really is on Dak Prescott to shine. So we'll talk about that 30 TD threshold a little bit later on. But it's kind of interesting to see how the worm has turned. I'm Mark Holmes, and make sure you guys tune in tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, for our live stream. I'll see you soon.